Welcome in. It is 7:30 even. Oh, wow, 7:30 on the dot on a Wednesday. This is our Dynasty Trade Show with BoomBustFantasy.com. We are going to start right away with a trade. We've got a trade. That's not meant to be a middle finger. That's meant to be pointing at a trade right now on your screen. The first question that we have, and then we'll talk through how to get your question answered, comes from, is it It's Psycho TV? You can see the name on your screen. And the trade is in a 14-team Superflex start 10 PPR with a half-point tight end premium trade. Christian McCaffrey for, that is the 112 in this year's draft, the 202 and the 212 in this year's draft. And right away, this trade shows why we have these trades come through the site. I know some people put their trades in the chat. Some people put trades in comments on videos, or there are some people that send messages with their trades. This is why we ask that you put it through the site. There's a 14-team league where, with the roster that this manager has the Christian McCaffrey side of this trade. They have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey now. And I think they've taken this deal, and I think it's an okay deal for them. They traded away the 112, the 202, and the 212. They bring in Christian McCaffrey to an aging roster. Like right now they have Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Gainwell. That's enough running backs in a 14-team start 10. That's a pretty good running back room. Jamison Williams at wide receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson, Devontae Adams, Michael Pittman, Mike Evans. That's enough. That's enough if your league is this deep, 14-team start 10. And then at tight end, they have Kyle Pitts and Juwan Johnson. I think this is an okay trade for them. I'm just going to call it fair. There's not a side that I love a ton more than the other one. I'm just going to say this is a pretty fair deal, and it fits the team that is bringing in Christian McCaffrey. So even, I wouldn't do this for every team in every league, but if your team is pushing for a playoff spot, bringing in McCaffrey is going to get you over the edge for the playoffs. And the 112 and 202 are not really going to bring in reliable or high level of success fantasy players for this year. So we'll mark that one as an even deal trade. First trade done on the night. Let's pull up how to submit your trades, and we'll cover a couple. We have a couple questions coming in from the chat that are not specifically trades. Like, what is this? It's Jax. We'll take a look at some of these. Like, Trev, would you trade 103 for Barkley or McCaffrey? Punch it in on the site. Here's how you do it with your league. All of the trades will come through our website, BoomBustFantasy.com. Here it is, the landing page. The landing page will continue to change over a couple days. I'm not a designer, so we'll keep updating this, but the main functionality is here. You click get started. It's going to ask you sign in or create an account with your Discord. All you do is hit continue with Discord. If you're on a device that is logged into Discord, it's going to log you in. Here I am logged in. It says continue to Discord in another app on my screen. Some screens, it'll put that stuff in there for you. Looks like that one is going to make me try to do it through there. Let's try to get a real quick swap in. It's going to ask you to sign in with Discord. I'm going to swap in a browser that has me signed in. Sam Henney with 100 goats. I did not even hear that come through. Thank you very much. Blessing the fam today, boss. As always, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Let's we'll swap this over so you can see how to get your trade questions submitted. We take all of our trade questions through the site, so we will cover a couple that have come in through the chat. How do I do a quick swap on this to, there we go. We have logged in. Once you have logged in and created your account with Discord, you can click your profile in the top right on your profile page. As long as you type in your Sleeper username, it's going to pull all of the leagues that you are in on Sleeper. And then you can pick any league that you want to make a trade for. Here's all the leagues I'm in. It's duplicated here or there. You hit that and you go to trade advice. You enter in your trade and you hit request expert review, and it's going to show up in my feed for this trade show. So if you have a question, like someone, Malcolm Lopez, saying rate this trade, I got to tell you, there's not a chance in hell I'm going to read your chat message and rate it. Put it in on the site. Here we go. The next trade that we have in the queue comes to us from Timmy.
What is this?
Oh, we have text to speech still going from somewhere. Let's bring that down. There it is. Vasquilla, what is this? It's fantasy football trade content. We've got our second trade of the day. This one comes to us from Timmy in Cutthroat, $25 the league. It's a 10-team Superflex start 10. PPR scoring, no tight end premium in this league. On one side, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. It's a pretty big side. On the other side, Cam Ward, Bashal Tutin, the 105, and 27 early first and a 27 mid first. Let's start crossing off some like objects. So it's a 10-team Superflex start 10. This is going to be more in favor of the Jahmyr Gibbs side than maybe some other trades because of how this is a shallower league. Let's say, I mean, Devonta Smith is worth about a mid first, 2027. Gibbs for the 105, another first, Cam Ward and Bashal Tutin. I'm not sure that I'm sending Gibbs away in this way. Let's take a look. This trade did come to us from the side sending away Bashal Tutin. So would I be willing to send Cam Ward, Bashal Tutin, the 105 and those extra picks to get the Gibbs side? Yeah. It is hard when we have a player that we say is worth 3.5 or 4 firsts, where I would with Jahmyr Gibbs. If it's only a 10-team start 10, I'd put him closer to 4 firsts that I want for him. I don't know that trade necessarily means like just send 4 firsts. I usually, if I'm down tiering from Jahmyr Gibbs or trading him away, if I'm trading away Jahmyr Gibbs, I want to be down tiering. I want to go to Jahmyr Gibbs to Omarion Hampton and a first, and then trade away Omarion Hampton and down tier and pick up firsts and extra things on top that way. Now, sending away Jahmyr Gibbs, like if I do want to take someone like Dallas Goedert, who has 1 year, and I want to include him in the deal and get that. So it works out okay in that way. But I'm going to say I'm going to go with the Gibbs side in that deal. Let's take a look at a couple of other things from the chat. Like, it's Jax, hold or try to trade Pierce. It's Jax. It's been a minute since, the fantasy season has ended. It has been a while since I was doing daily fantasy conversations. But if the question is hold a player or try to trade them, the answer is always 100%. I don't care what player it is, try to trade them, because you don't know what the other managers in your league think about these players. And in this situation, it's Alec Pierce. Like, you don't know if someone's going to pay you the high end for Alec Pierce. So the answer is always try to trade. The managers that win the most fantasy leagues are the ones willing to build the trades, willing to reach out to the other managers and say, are you interested in Alec Pierce? Here's what I think a trade would look like. And they shoot it a little bit high. And then if the person is interested, they go back and forth. But sometimes they're interested and they just take the trade. The answer is always try to trade your players. I don't care if it's Alec Pierce. I don't care if it's Jesus Christ of Nazareth. The answer is always try to trade your players. Let's see what we got. Malcolm Lopez, rate this trade. Submitted through the site, Malcolm. RB, you have the 104 in my dynasty. Do I take Tate, Tyson, or Lemon in a 10-team dynasty? It sounds like you don't get to pick. You have 104. Whoever's there, you take. Samuel Henney, look at me figuring out the site, getting old over here. It should be working with no issues. We are cleaning up any issues as they come through, which is why every trade that gets submitted is for free right now. How do I feel about the tight ends after Raridon and Claire? I mean, with the tight end in any draft, Samington, I typically will lead more towards drafting a tight end than I will any wide receiver taken outside the first round. It's just so rare that second round wide receivers taken in the NFL draft end up doing all that much for fantasy. Even in these deeper leagues that we play in for Dynasty, like, the last starter on your roster, that's kind of how I'm viewing someone like Denzel Boston, who's going around the 112. He's likely, if he's starting for me, the last starter in my roster. We're not really getting that much that late in our drafts. So I will lean towards tight ends because they hit at a slightly higher rate. They're both low percentages. William Joseph, what's your take on Zachariah Branch? Basically that. Just a dart throw. If it works out, great. A lot of the times we're going to take that pick with the 205 and get nothing back. Which one of us knows who's going to be, why am I blanking on his name? The little guy from the Giants. Who's going to be Cam Scatabo and who's going to be Jack Besh? We don't know. We like to think we know, but we don't always get it right, and we don't know. I do try to trade my seconds away because there's just dart throws. Let's see. We had some arrows. What's your opinion on Ladd? Really good receiver with a better offensive coordinator and improved line coming in. I like him. I like him. Tiger, there's no way all three fall. Oh, that's just responding to a question. Hunter, what's Michael Wilson and Jaden Reed worth in Fab? All of it. Almost all of it. Hunter, depending on your league, I don't know why they would be available. I'm guessing it's a shallower league, but yeah, like blast it. Those are players that should be rostered close to 100%. So get them on your team and then they have trade value. Let's go to the next trade. I did see a question from Samuel Henney. Can you see people's rosters when they submit a trade? Absolutely. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll show you what it looks like for this one. We'll do it on the view that I use. I'll bring this over here. This is the view that I use when I'm answering the trades. So right now you've got this down here where you can see them. And this is also so that it can be on the YouTube feed. You can see your position in the queue as we scroll through them. And it should be updating close to in real time. We're at 8 trades in the queue. You can add your trades in live and then your name will show up here, which is why we submit them through the site. So you know where your trade is in the question. Before this one, we've got it. Let's make sure that we set this one live. Trade comes to us from Jack Adams. Is it going to update? I really hope it does. So we're reason this one. Let's make sure that we get this one updating. I think the software for displaying... Did the software for displaying these break? Well, we were going to show... When I started the live show, the software for... Yeah. Okay. Looks like the streaming software has... Here it is. Yeah, the streaming software is just a little bit broken. Let's see if we can fix it really quick. Otherwise, we'll pivot. On we go. The site is not down. The streaming software is just not updating. Is it going to come through? Here it is. Whew. We've had some issues with the streaming software. We make a green screen. That's why my face is lit up a little bit green. Here's what it looks like when on my version. Here's the trade as it would show up here. We've got Big Hossman, a 12-team Superflex start 10. Here's the view that I'm using. Samuel Henney asked, do we see the league rosters? Yeah, we see the league rosters. We see the league scoring. So in this trade, we have Big Hossman, a 12-team Superflex start 10 PPR. The trade is Stroud, Terry McLaurin, Tyler Algier, or Tua, Demario Douglas, 1 first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. And then we can also see, so behind the scenes while I'm talking, I am pulling up the rosters. So this trade is the Stroud side. Is the Stroud, which side would I rather have? Starvin Marvin currently has a Stroud side. This trade's from a couple days ago. Let's go with, whoops, I mean, there's the green screen version. Let's go with, let's start crossing some things off. Would we rather have Stroud or a 27 mid first? I call that about even. I know some people in my comments don't think that. Stroud he's about worth a 27 mid first. And I think that's a fine price. I think he's the lowest his value will be because he's coming off of a playoff game where he threw multiple interceptions with one of the worst O-lines in the league. That's getting better. First round pick for the Texans, offensive line. They have brought in other offensive linemen. I think things will get better for Stroud. So I think 27 first for Stroud, fine. And then Tua, Demario Douglas in 2 seconds. I mean, it's probably about 2 seconds for Terry McLaurin. Would I send Tyler Algier to bring in Tua? I'm going to call this one about even. I don't love either side. If I have to just pick a side that has the best players, it's Stroud and Terry McLaurin. So maybe we'll say that side barely comes out ahead. But I don't think it's an insane deal. Like, would I send Stroud to get this? No. Maybe if I'm looking at my team and saying it's time to rebuild, like, does this team need to rebuild? They have Harvey, ETN, Dobbins. Stroud, Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray. Like, okay, it's not looking amazing with what they have at quarterback for a 12 team start 10. And then at wide receivers, Ted McMillan, Ibuka, Marv, Matthew Golden, Terry McLaurin. That is enough if you're bolstered everywhere else. Like if you have Brock Bowers here and if you had great quarterbacks, that would be enough at wide receiver. But the rest is like, it's close. It's close. So would I do this to start moving into 27 firsts? Yeah, I could. So we'll come to that. Whoops, wrong thing. Meant to click here. We'll call it about even. Like this is an okay move to start a rebuild, which is what it looks like they're trying to do. Which is why we don't take questions through our comments. Like we just don't have all of this context to give you the best advice. We've had people ask questions saying, I'm a rebuilder. And then they had about 9 future firsts. Like, you're not a rebuilder. You did it. Take those firsts and trade players and buy a team and win the championship. So we don't really take people's word for it. We want to see the actual rosters and see the actual league and the scoring. Let's go to the next question. We covered that one. Hopefully this updates pretty quickly live. There it goes. I can't control the streaming software. In between these, we'll check out some of the chats. Swift, thoughts on Malik Neighbors? I think he's still a first-round startup pick. Bro Chacho, you like the Tootin side if it's an early first. You never know if it is. We have a team in a league I'm in. We thought this guy had by far the worst team. No chance we can pull that league up. We thought there was no chance this dude wasn't the number 1 pick. Let's pull up this league. In this league, this team, like really nice guy. Going into last year, we thought for sure this is the worst team in the league. Jordan Love, he had CJ Stroud before. And then last year he had Javonte Williams. He had Quentin Johnston, who started performing well for him. People thought Zay Flowers was done for. He started performing for them. Like Tucker Kraft hit well, Dalton Schultz hit well, and he just barely missed the playoffs. So when we're saying if it's an early first, surely it's an early first. This was one of the worst teams I had ever seen, and they just barely missed the playoffs. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. I mean to click on some other things. We don't always know what these teams are going to be. So anytime the future first is thrown in there, I'm generally going to assume that it is a mid first in value and talk about it that way. Like, let's not get too excited that we actually know how the next year is going to go, because it just doesn't always work out as for sure as we think it is. So on to this next trade. Jack Adams wants to know, in the Boomer League, 12 teams, 6-point passing touchdown, 9 starters, PPR, are we moving Chase Brown, a 27 first, and the 112 to get the 103 and 108? Jack Adams I'm in some leagues with Jack Adams. Right now, he currently has Chase Brown. I think this one is from a couple days ago. He always says the 103 is Carnell Tate. So are we sending a 27 first and the 112 for Carnell Tate? Yeah. Are we sending Chase Brown for the 108? No. Like, I don't know for sure. I don't think I'm sending Chase Brown for the 108. Who's there? Maybe Jadarian Price, that we hope just does what Chase Brown already does. Chase Brown's not that old. He's 26. So I think I'm going to give... The only thing that's really throwing this off and bringing it to about even for me is that it's the 112 in this year's draft. Unless someone great falls at the 112, I don't know that I want that pick. So it's feeling really close to me. If we have someone if y'all are in the chat and looking at this one, this 103 is Carnell Tate. Do you feel strongly about either side? I'm calling it like kind of even. Carnell Tate and the 108. I mean, who's going to be there at the 108? The notes don't say who got drafted at the 108. It's Ty Simpson. It's Jadarian Price. It's Kenyon Sadiq. Who else has been going there? Concepcion for Chase Brown, the 112. Am I moving those for the 112? I don't think I am. I'm going to mark this one as even and say I don't really want the 112. Alex, I see you in the chat. How are you? Samington, what are your favorite picks in the mid to late second? I hate them all. If I could take second round picks in almost any year, mid to late second round picks, I am always looking to trade them. package him up and get a first next year, package him up and try to re-roll and hope it's an early second in 2027. This year, 2026, like we just did not get that many first round pickable players. If I have a first round pick, I want to spend it on a quarterback drafted in the first round, a running back drafted in rounds 1, 2, sometimes 3. We didn't get any of those rounds 2 or 3 this year. There's a lot of running backs going at around the 112. I don't want to take any bets on them. And then after that, it just kind of all falls off to dart throws. So who are the favorite picks? Mid to late second? I don't have any. I tried not to ever make a mid to late second round pick. And anyone telling you that they know some, they don't. They don't. It feels like being on a show saying like, I know fantasy football. You're asking like, who are the sleepers? No one knows. It's all dart throws in that range. Trade those picks away, pair them with an older player just to get a couple years younger, and you'll come out ahead way more often than hitting on a late round, second round pick in any meaningful way. How do I feel about Zachariah Branch? I mean, yeah, RB 2024, like we don't know, but I'd rather have 2 firsts next year. This one comes from Recursive. I have no idea how that name is said. Would you rather have 2 first round next year or Jamo Williams and Ferguson? 2 firsts next year for sure. Jamison Williams and Tyler Ferguson, the tight end. Jake Ferguson, the tight end. Even if there's a tight end premium, unless my team is really, I'm taking the 2 firsts, no matter what, because of what you could do with 2 firsts. Like you could just go get a better player than the combination of Jamison Williams and Ferguson. Let's jump to the next trade that we have in the queue. We will keep coming back in on chats. Joe Daddy, what did you think of your trade? Submit it, Joe Daddy. Let's pull it up. Actually, let's show that feature because I think that works. Actually, I'll submit it for you, Joe Daddy. Take a look, because we have this feature. If you have a trade that happened in your league, I'm 90% positive this is going to work. What was that? The captain's league that I'm in with you? Joe Daddy joined an orphan team from our Discord. Here's one that I'm in the league. Here it is. Yeah. Oh, this will only post it to Discord. Here's a trade that went through. You can come here and click post to Discord, and that one will show up in the Discord, and people can vote on that one. Submit that one through the trades if you want to hear it on the show. Next one coming through. Let's make sure that we close out this one. Okay, we did. Let's throw the next trade up here. This one comes from Super Warden 151. Ooh, the league name is League of Legends. And I was watching some League of Legends videos today. The notes on the question says, all they did was type the scoring. The reason we ask you to put the trades in through the site is because we see the scoring. This person said it's a 10-team half-point PPR Superflex. They left out that it's a start 8, which is a big difference. So even when you're submitting your questions in comments, in messages to me, like you're just leaving stuff out, which is why we put it through the site. Is that Scoob? Is that Scoob with the heart me? It is. Samuel Henney did one as well. Let's cover this trade. Jalen Waddle or Brian Robinson and Bashal Tutin. I just did a lot of talking about this trade before even looking at it. It's Jalen Waddle. It's not close. It's Jalen Waddle. It's not close. Bashal Tutin in line to be the starter for the Jags. Brian Robinson on Atlanta now is what the site is showing. I wasn't exactly sure where he had landed in free agency because it's so low impact. If I could trade Bashal Tutin and Brian Robinson for Jalen Waddle, I don't care what the rest of my team looks like. I don't care about anything. I'm taking Jalen Waddle, even if I have 100 receivers, because then I could trade Jalen Waddle for better running backs. Even if Bashal Tutin and Brian Robinson were my only running backs, it wouldn't stop me. Jalen Waddle is just so much higher value. Like even if I was Bashal Tutin's mom, like we're selling these players because Jalen Waddle is just the better side. And then you can take these things and do a follow-up trade with Jalen Waddle. It's April 29th. Like we don't care what our roster looks like. We're taking Jalen Waddle by a lot. Joe Daddy, how do you add a team on the website? Let's pull this up. So you don't add any specific team or any specific league on the website. If you want to submit your trades, the top right will have your profile. If you're on mobile, there should be I can just show you. Mobile, here's how it'll look. You'll have the dots here. You click profile and type in your sleeper name, and it will pull every league that you're in. Joe Daddy says he found it. It's because it's not that hard. It's not that hard to do. Even on mobile, you just click right here, hit profile. It'll take you to the profile page. You type in your sleeper name, and it's going to pull every league that you are in. Let's take it off of the mobile view. There it is, trade advice, and then you just select whichever league that your trade was in, and it'll send the scoring settings from that league. Keep clicking on the green screen. We don't need that up. Next trade comes to us from, who is this? Peter the Janitor in Dynasty Sweats. This is a big one. He's getting May and Pickens. So let's see what he's giving up. Jalen Hurts, Josh Jacobs, the 104, 203, 304. Okay. It's a 12-team Superflex start 10. There's no tight end premium. There's no tight ends here. It's not going to change the scoring or our thoughts that much. How do we feel about this trade? Drake May, George Pickens for Josh Jacobs, the 104, and Jalen Hurts. I mean, we throw in the 203 and the 304. For the people who've been asking how we feel about Zachariah Branch or any second-round receiver, when we're evaluating a trade like this, just throw these out. I'm hovering my mouse over them on the view that I showed you guys before, but the 203, we're going to clean this up for next week. The 203 and right here, the 304. If the trade involves Drake May, I don't care what picks the third-round pick is. It's not going to sway the deal. Sometimes I'll say like, hey, just throw in a third to get a little bit extra on a trade I probably would take without it. If you're in a league with me and I ever ask you to throw a third on, it means I would probably take it without it, and I just want that extra thing. But that's what these are in these deals. They don't mean anything. So are we doing Jalen Hurts and Josh Jacobs for Drake May? Close. Some of you guys might say it's Jalen Hurts and the 104 to get to Drake May. And if I have Drake May, I'd take the Jalen Hurts side there. So, I mean, even just Jalen Hurts and Josh Jacobs for Drake May is pretty close. And then the 104 for George Pickens. And if we're taking all of these older assets and moving them for younger ones in Drake May and Pickens, and the older thing that I really mean is just Josh Jacobs, who's likely to go down in value after this year just based on age. I'm taking the Drake May side. Is there anyone disagreeing? We've got the chat going. Anybody disagreeing on that one? We're going with the Drake May side. We'll call out the chats if there's disagreement for the follow-up, people watching the YouTube follow-up. Let's pull up the next deal while this loads up. Tipsy saying, love your videos, bro. Super helpful. Thank you, Tipsy. Thank you. Who are we? Jack, what would you do with the 102, 103, 104? You have all of them? Tate, Tyson, Lemon, just take them all. Unless you can get someone to trade into it. But it's really just take all three. They're all solid picks. But really just selling them also as well. See what sort of offers you get. Some people just come to you with good offers. Sometimes people will come to you with terrible offers, and all that means is, and sometimes you get a bad offer and you want to say like, screw this guy. What I would add in, who's this for? Jack? Ooh, Jack to Jack. If you're trading these picks and you put them on the block and people start sending you terrible offers, it just means they want to trade and they want you to do the work. So if you want to get a big value in, like do the extra work, build a trade in your favor, and be open to selling those. Let's see. We'll cover this trade and then we got some other questions. This is a trade from Kelson in a 10-team Superflex start 10, shallower league. Ken Walker. Oh, I think this trade came. I think so. I think Kelson put this trade on a comment of a video. Ken Walker for the 204, 205, 207, and 210. No shot. I'm sending Ken for those things. Same way that we've been talking about with some questions about, who's your favorite late round, second round pick? If I could take this many picks and just ship them away, gone. I don't want to be making the 204, 205, 207, 210, because the odds here are maybe one of these picks becomes someone as good as Ken Walker or someone that you could trade for a player of the tier of Ken Walker. And there's years where you take 4 picks, 205, 204, 207, and 210, and you just miss on all of them and you can't trade. So if I could just ship them all and take the sure thing or the more sure thing in Ken, I would be doing that one every single time, which is actually how I got Ken Walker last offseason. I sent like a couple junky running backs and 3rd round picks, a package of trash like the way this one looks, and got Ken Walker going into last year. It didn't work out for me last year, but people love him now. So we do have some trades that have come through. Joe Daddy, I see the one that came through. I Want a Sandwich came through 20 minutes ago. I think we've been live over 20 minutes. We have. Thank you, Sandwich. We're almost getting up to yours. We get to the ones that people put in last time. Let's check out a couple chat messages. Sam Henney. We love to read a message from Sam Henney. Pickens value at an all-time high. Would be great to take May and flip Pickens for a bona fide top 5. I would be fine with moving George Pickens right now. Like there's reports of him signing a, franchise tag, not signing the franchise tag. Like, we don't know yet. It feels like we know. We hope we know. But now they're talking about trading him. If no one's worried about George Pickens' value and you could just swap it for someone of a same value, I would be. So if we're just looking at something like that, let's pull that up. I know I made a video on TikTok about not loving keep trade cut for things that people use it for. But if we're just looking at it and saying, what does the market think of these players? Like, that's all it shows you. George Pickens or James Cook, Emeka Ibuka. If I could just flip him, Ibuka, James Cook, and not have to worry about any headache 1 for 1, I'd be fine doing that with George Pickens. I don't know that I want to bring in a bunch of like older things like that trade was. Let's hit the next trade question. This comes to us from Ngavio24 in Safford Dynasty. It's a trade. It's a shallower league, 12 team, 6-point passing touchdown. Looks like it's just a 1 quarterback league, 7 starters, PPR. It's pretty shallow. 12 teams starts 7. That's kind of in line with your redraft leagues. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. That's 5. Tight end flex, 7. Tight end flex, 7 there. Javonte Williams or the 109 and the 302. The notes here say that they took Sadiq at 109. I think I'm okay with moving on from Javonte Williams. If we look at this, I think because we do look at TTV Captain Crunch. I see you. We will read it. We will read what you sent through. We will read it. We'll cover this one. Ngavio, it looks like they sent away because these are a little bit delayed and we're in the middle of rookie drafts. There's going to be some times that things are not fully updated. The sleeper API doesn't update your team until the draft is done. But are we trading Javonte Williams for Kenyon Sadiq in the 302? I think I could. We're getting towards the end of Javonte Williams' career. If you have enough running backs, and if I'm looking at the league roster, looks like they're just starting a rebuild. They have Genty on their team. They had the 103. They just brought in the 109 and the 302, which doesn't do that much. I'm okay. If we're just saying like, hey, we had Javonte Williams. We had our fun last year. Let's just punt it for a first rounder. This 109 we know was Kenyon Sadiq. Actually, looking at the league settings, I don't like this trade anymore. Now that I'm talking about it, it took me a minute for my brain to catch up. If we're in a deeper league, I like Kenyon Sadiq, but in a 12-team, much more shallow league where these tight ends, like you can get by with an even lesser tight end than Kenyon Sadiq, I don't know that I love it. If I had Javonte Williams, I probably would have held him for someone else or made a different trade. Like some trades are okay, but the opportunity cost of being able to just make a better trade if you have Javonte Williams, I think I like that more. Let's see if we can come up with one. I mean, it's in the past now, but for you guys watching, this manager had Javonte Williams. That's showing up right here. If we go to the league rosters, they brought in the 109. That's Kenyon Sadiq. I mean, they had Mason Taylor, Elijah Arroyo, Theo Johnson. They didn't have a tight end, but they traded away Javonte Williams to get a different tight end, I think I would have gone for a different first round pick or shot for a 27 first round pick or paired Javonte Williams with, I don't know that you're getting all that much for Cortland Sutton, who still has value, and shot for a higher level pick or a higher level player. I would have looked at other options. I don't know how many people are going to give you all that much for Jalen Hurts in a one quarterback league, but just taking the one good trade asset you have and selling it by itself, if you're a rebuilding team, is not a move I like. Like, how many other things here are you going to be able to sell for anything? Tyreek Hill, no. Cortland Sutton, maybe. Troy Franklin, no, because they brought in Jalen Waddle. Coker, Booty, Jennings, he's not even on a team. I'm trying to take like Mason Taylor, or as I'm saying this, I was hoping that I would find some names that are like in that middle range of like ugly guys, but they have value. Like Ramondre Stevenson has value. That's the name that I've been using this year. Kayshon Boutte maybe has a little bit of value. I would have been pairing Boutte with Javonte Williams to try to get more, or pairing Javonte Williams with, I mean, now you have Kenyon Sadiq, but I'd be taking Kenyon Sadiq with some of these other things and trying to get some of this value off this team and into the rebuilding version of your team. You took the one piece you had, or one or two pieces you had, and said, I'll sell that, and then the rest of this is just going to burn on my roster or get traded for seconds and thirds at best, thirds and fourths realistically, with a league as shallow as this one. So we'll submit that one. Next trade coming up from SPC. Is that SPC Doc and Ridiculousness? It's a 10-team, one quarterback, start 9. And actually, let's cover TTV's message. Superflex, I got Drake May and Lawrence. I'm skeptical on Lawrence. Thoughts on him? The market's pretty high on Lawrence. There are just in the offseason when a player has a great second half of the year, and we didn't love that guy either, or we didn't really love that guy. If the market likes them, like Trevor Lawrence, he's gotten pretty high up in value. I'd be fine moving him. But what was the name on that question? That was from TTV Captain Crunch. I don't feel that strongly connected to very many players in Dynasty as it is. So if you want to ship Trevor Lawrence, like, yeah, see if someone in your league is a big Trevor Lawrence believer. And that's true with any player. If you're looking at your team and the market is high on them and you're not a believer, like there's 11 other people in your league. This question comes from a 10-team league. So there's 9 other people. Maybe one of them is a believer, and see if you can get a move on that one. So this trade here, CJ Stroud, where I'm back in as a believer. Last offseason, I didn't really like CJ Stroud. I thought he was a bit overvalued, but now at his current price, people are saying they wouldn't trade a 27 first for him. At that price, I'm a believer. Stroud and Dontavian Wicks, or Chris Olave, Tyrone Tracy, and a 27 second. Well, I'm more of a believer in Olave for all of that talking. And actually, there's no way that okay. Look at this league scoring with me. Chat. 10-team, 1 quarterback, 9 starters. No shot. Maybe it's a bug in the site. Maybe we'll hear from SPC Doc. That's kind of what I'm thinking is happening here. Maybe something has gone wrong with our website, which is why all of your trade questions are free right now, so we can catch these odd situations like this. But if this is a 10-team, 1 quarterback league, there's no shot we're trading Stroud for Chris Olave. It's Olave by a mile. Even just think of this in leagues that you're maybe a bit more familiar with, like a redraft league. CJ Stroud, you're not even drafting. Chris Olave is going to go in the 2nd, 3rd round next year. Dontavian Wicks is nothing. Tyrone Tracy in a second, kind of not. It's Olave by a lot. I'm just going to put in the notes. Did the site get your scoring wrong? 1 QB. So that one's Olave by miles. Let's take a look at some questions here. User 309, what to do with the 109? We do have our YouTube video of what I am doing with the whole first round. Let's go to, well, that's not. So you can check that one out on YouTube. 109, it's like Ty Simpson, who I'd be fine taking and trading later. Casey Concepcion, Kenyon Sadiq, all fine there. It's going to depend on what sort of tight end premium is in your league. Mikey, what to do with the 102 and 109? We dropped a video on the 102 on TikTok today. Who's this one? Buy money. What about Jonathan Taylor for Josh Jacobs in the 104? Submit it. You can go to the site boombustfantasy.com, which is where all of these trades were submitted for. So you can check how many are in the queue currently. Those are trades that have come through on the live. We're getting caught up on the ones submitted beforehand. And then here's the website, boombustfantasy.com, to submit your trades. We've cleaned up most of the issues. We haven't heard anyone having issues tonight. Scuba Steve, lots of trades coming through. Yeah, they are. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of trades coming through. I've been kind of meandering and taking my time on some of these. We've got some that we got to get through. So Joseph, Justin Jefferson, and Shadur Sanders for Cam Ward and Jonathan Taylor, submit it. Submit it. We've got multiple people who did it the way that we're looking for ahead of you. So we're just going to get to them first. Elliot Nab on, where's that coming from? YouTube. It's not pulling your, Elliot Nab. Did I miss this from a while ago? Would I trade a 27 first projected bottom 2 for something? Submit it on the site, Elliot. Let's get caught up here. I want a sandwich who submitted their trade 33 minutes ago. I want a sandwich in Fantasy Fight Club. It's a 12-team Superflex start 10 PPR half-point tight end premium. It's a big one. Are we sending Josh Allen and a 27 mid-second to get Joe Burrow and T. Higgins? We get a stack. We get a stack with Burrow and Higgins. Are we doing this? I don't think so. Are we? Maybe. I don't know. No, I'm going to call this one even. If I can't look at it and say, actually, no, why are we throwing in a 27 second? The 27 second is too much. The 27 second is too much. You get Allen and you have a wide receiver surplus. Is this yours? I want a ham sandwich. Is that you, Sam Henny? Sending Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, bringing in Josh Allen in the second. I think I can do that. It's not a slam dunk, like massive win, but that's buying Joe Burrow for not a ridiculous price. T. Higgins is going to have a couple more years of production for him. You could easily get a first, probably a first and a second for him. So if we're saying I would want to go Josh Allen to Joe Burrow in a first and call that okay, like I would do that in a tear down. If I'm tearing down a team that only has Josh Allen, Joe Burrow in a first would be one of the first things I do. And then Burrow for someone else in a first on the way down. So Josh Allen for Burrow and T. Higgins, fine. But then you're getting that extra second on top if you're the Burrow side. I think it's we'll take it's got the best player. You can find another wide receiver. We can go to your rosters. You're saying you had a surplus of receivers. Yeah, you have Nico Collins, Rashee Rice, Chris Olave, T. Higgins, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle. Like, yeah. And this is the type of team that, as long as I'm reading this right, like you have Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. That's enough to contend. That's enough to contend by quite a bit. So going Joe Burrow up to, you have Lamar and Joe Burrow. Let's just throw your team up here. You're in the chat. Let's just throw your team up here so you can brag a little bit. It's looking all right. Here's the team sending Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. They're bringing in Josh Allen. They have a ton, no picks, just like Sam is saying. No picks. No first round picks this year. No 27 firsts. It's not a move that, when we're looking at your picks, it's not a move that's setting you up for future success. It's just pushing in for right now. And I think it's okay. Or I think you're fine. Like this wide receiver room is still going to be pretty stacked getting rid of T. Higgins. I mean, you could even then take like Lamar and down tier to try to get a better tight end and make this all right. But that's the only weakness you have is not a ton going on at tight end and a tight end premium. Njoku's not on a team yet. Parkinson, I don't know that he's going to repeat what he did for the Rams. So clear weakness, but I don't think it's a bad trade. I'm going to submit the review on that one. Let's get to Joe Daddy, who made a deal today. Joe Daddy took over a pretty rough orphan team. Here is the move that was sent. I think Joe Daddy sent Bo Nix for Sam Darnold and Bryce Young. And this one of the things that we were talking about, I'm going to take a look at the rosters here, because I think this runs into Joe Daddy, kind of what when we were talking about that trade with Javonte Williams on the team. You called it the tune-up team. What else is on here that is going to be hard to move? If we're not contending this year or next year, and you had Bo Nix, like what else is on here that we could be looking to move? When there's only a few pieces on your team, I have a team that's like that. I want to make sure that when I'm sending away someone like Bo Nix, I'm also getting paid out on these other guys. And I'm not actually seeing that many opportunities for that here. Let's throw that up. So even with that said, if you have Bo Nix, here's the trade. If you have Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, it's a 12-team Superflex start 10, full point per reception, half point tight end premium. I guess I don't know why we do this, unless we're thinking Darnold's going to take a bigger step forward. Bryce Young is going to take a bigger step forward. If you had Bo Nix, even the 109, I think you took Ty Simpson. I think our draft is just about to end, so it'll update with the league rosters. It'll convert all of these picks into the players you took because our draft is just about to end. I probably would have taken Bo Nix and been cleaning up like second. I mean, what I would have done, if I'm moving Bo Nix, I want to find a deal where I'm moving Bo Nix close to 1-for-1 in value and then taking the 202 and 207 and getting like a future first for it. Because that's what you're doing with Bo Nix. Like it's just there. You're looking at all the pieces you can sell easily and then pairing them with the things that are kind of dart throws and trying to get them to more sure things. Or just take some of the junk you have that still has value and get it into something that is a more sure thing to be in a better, that's going to go up in value going forward with a rebuilding team like this. Because if you're not competing 2026 and you're not competing 2027, we want to take as much of this stuff as we can. Like who on here could you have moved? Like the 202, who's unlikely to hit, the 207 that is more likely to go down in value in 2026. And you want to turn that into something that's going to go up in value. So as you're sending out trades for rebuilders, you just want to be taking as much of this like harder to move stuff and attaching it to your better players. I'm in a league where someone was doing this move to me. They were trying to trade Jamar Chase and they would not move him unless they could move Christian Watson with them, or I don't remember the other player, but it was a player in that tier. If you're taking one of the best players and selling them in a rebuild, you're not just trying to get all the picks out. You're trying to take as much of the junk on your team that you have and ship it away. So here's the rule that I have. If you're in a dynasty league, and we'll pull the trade back up on the screen, and you're sending the best player in the league, you also have to send the worst player, especially if you're a rebuilding team. You need to be getting paid on the worst player in the deal. So this one, I think I'm just taking the Bo Nix side, even if you're a rebuilder. And Joe Daddy, I brought you in that league, and I appreciate you asking the question, but I got to go with maybe Bryce Young takes a giant leap forward and Sam Darnold does as well. Well, I'm looking at your league again, like at your roster again, like I would have gotten paid on Michael Penix unless you're hoping that Penix comes back and takes over the starting role and looks better. Like that's a fine move too. I'm trying to take as much of the stuff that I can and pair junk on it and get paid for that junk. We've got some other trade questions coming in on the chat. So right here on your screen, we have a queue of trades that have come through. These have been submitted through the site. So something like Sports Jazz Fan with 108 for Tyler Shucks, shoot it through the site. We haven't heard of any issues. We've been doing all of these questions for free because they're all testing the site for us, helping find these issues. So if the question is just in the chat, we've already got multiple questions ahead of you. Like right here, it's scanning through 7 trades currently in there. No harm, no foul. It's really just me selling myself. So thank you, Sports Jazz Fan, for understanding on that one. And then we will go as long as, you can hear we're getting a little bit raspier, but we'll go until the queue ends. So let's move on to the next one from Strebs. It is loading. Maybe the site is breaking. I don't think it is. Here's a big one. We got 4 things on one side. Well, maybe it's not as big. Okay, let's go through the scoring. 10 team. I don't know why I'm holding up fingers. We would need 2 hands to get up to 10. Sorry. 10 team Superflex start 9. 90 players started each week. It's a shallower league. Half-point tight end premium, full point per reception. Let's see. Okay. The site looks like we need to add in 28 firsts. So I hate having to do this to you. It's a 28 first. This manager is getting Ladd and picks. Would I send? So the manager who sent this trade in, Strebs, is getting Ladd McConkey for Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, and a 27 first. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe a trade calculator starts to say that it's an overpay and then all of these extra picks are just thrown on to balance it out. When I'm looking at this, I don't care about the 306, 406, 407. I'm really just looking at this as I'm sending a far future first for a player that I think will be slightly better or at least as good as he was last year in a down year. And I'm sending Mike Evans on maybe the final year of his career, and Cortland Sutton, who's probably got 2 to 3 years left, but in a diminished role with Jalen Waddle there. I don't know that we're going to get to 2028 and say for sure that the Ladd McConkey side has won, but getting rid of stuff before it falls in value, there's definitely teams where I'm fine with that. So I'm taking the Ladd McConkey side. Let's keep going on these to make sure we don't fall behind because we have been getting a bunch of them on the live today. Here we go. Make a note for myself. This one also says it's a 28 first all the way over here. This is a big, oh God, it's a big deal. Okay. MFLD 12 team Superflex start 9 2021 Gridiron Dynasty. Been going for a minute. Big trade. Jamar Chase, Dak Prescott, AJ Brown, J.K. Dobbins, Marv, Lamar Jackson, T. Higgins, Drake London, Trevion Henderson, and a 2077 first. Okay, where can we find some like objects and start crossing things off? Okay, Malcolm Lopez, your MFLD, you made 3 trades today, so you may see that your roster is different. Okay, this is a massive one you made today. How do we start chunking this down? Is anything, this is one where I'll throw it into a calculator and see, does it get close? And maybe even leave off J.K. Dobbins because he's not that big of a part in this deal. Like if a trade has Jamar Chase, J.K. Dobbins isn't having as much of a sway. I mean, we were saying, I mean, even if we, just like the trade that we covered, we said Joe Burrow and T. Higgins for Drake May. And that's like for like. So if we said Jamar Chase and J.K. Dobbins for Lamar and T. Higgins, and then start looking at the rest, if things start to become more clear after removing 2 players on each side, Dak Prescott for the first, you could probably get more for a Dak. So Dak side, Drake London for AJ Brown is definitely Drake London and probably total Drake London side. I think it's a very slight edge on this side. Very slight edge on this side. If we're just crunching numbers, it's the 28 first. So a slight edge on the Lamar Jackson side. Sorry, I'm hovering my mouse. I think it's a slight edge on this side. Are we getting, is chat feeling similarly there? If it's a slight edge on this side, and we start chucking out like J.K. Dobbins isn't as important. A 28 first, Trevion Henderson. I don't feel that strongly about either one. They're both going to end up being pretty close in value. I know we want to have deeper conversations about trades. Like this one, yeah, feels fair. What's up, Mikey? Goal Line Dynasty Fantasy Football. We will. Oh, can I get a Let's Go Flyers? Yeah, you can. Let's go Flyers. How are you, man? How are you? If you're here, Mikey, do you see the trade? Do you want to, in chat, let me know, because this is feeling pretty fair. Can we find a way to pick a side? Malcolm Lopez says wanted the Burrow stack. Okay, so now you have Burrow and Jamar Chase. If you're going for the stack, I don't think you're overpaid or underpaid, so I'm going to say it's okay there. If that's we're looking for small difference makers, small tiebreakers. You brought in, I think you're the one bringing in J.K. Dobbins if you already made this trade. The trade was you brought in Jamar Chase and J.K. Dobbins. It's a massive trade. You're much higher on T than anyone I know. You think you're taking that side. So they sent away T. Higgins and they brought in Jamar Chase. I mean, wait, Malcolm, you wanted the Burrow stack. You had a Burrow stack. You sent away T. Higgins. So if we're just going stack for stack and trying to use that as the tiebreaker, I don't know why that would mean tiebreaker. There's no hand sign that I know that would mean a tiebreaker. We got Mikey from Goal Line Dynasty saying the T side. And I can't say that either. Adrian or Aiden Sullivan, I'd lean Lamar side, but it's very close. We don't do this that often where I'm going to say yeah, you did fine. It's an even, I don't know that there's a side that we're seeing we're seeing multiple people say both sides. And I'm feeling like I can't pick one where I know for sure. I'm going to call it middle. If you guys are not following Goal Line Dynasty Fantasy Football, Goal Line Dynasty Football, they're in the chat on TikTok. So make sure you click on it in the chat. They should still show up on your phone. The beep, boop, pop, pop, beep, boop, pop, pop. Go for it. Follow him. Mikey makes probably better videos than I make. He just doesn't want to do lives as much as I do. He says 52-48 T side, but you can see the vision. And that's about how I'm feeling. Some of these deals, we look at them and we go, oh God, no, you want this side or that side. This one, it's not as clear. Let's go. We got a next trade question. We're falling behind. I think this one's you, Scoob. Scoob, I think this one's you. This is in Boom Bust 7. It pulls your Discord username is what I don't know why I'm hovering the mouse. The mouse would be the hands are so hard because it's flipped, mirrored. Hyperizes your Discord username. I mean, that was the Discord login name. We could change that to user sleeper name. Maybe we will in the future as we don't require people to use Discord to use the site. Ooh, in our league, this is one of our leagues, 12 team Superflex, start 10, PPR, half point tight end premium. Am I sending James Cook for a 27 second, the 111, 311? No, I want James Cook. This is fine. Give me James Cook. Like we were talking about, who's going at 111 in rookie drafts? Omar Cooper. He is a first round receiver on the Jets. Like that would be where I'm taking him. But then 27 second, like that is okay value. If I can send the 111 and just a 27 second and the 311 on top, give me James Cook. We're taking James Cook there. And then same thing that we've been saying with some of these other trades. Even if you don't need a running back, this is fine and dandy, sour candy. Don't take something like, what's the name I'm blanking on? 4th round player to Jonah Coleman to Denver, especially if that's what you're looking at 111. I've seen him go as high as 111. No, I'm chucking it out. Give me James Cook, just a better running back or something that I know I can do more with. Like if you trade these things, again, I gotta learn where the production is. Hands aren't helping either. If I'm trading these 3 picks for James Cook, I know I can get something more than those 3 picks back in a trade, or just 2 things that are better. So we're going with James Cook. Next trade. That's a fast one for Scoop. We got 2 from Joe Daddy. Also in NFL Captains, the league I'm in though. Mikey, got to run. Keep crushing it. Take care, Mikey. Take care of Mikey. Mikey said best 111 I've seen through 3 drafts is Ty Simpson. That's saying something. I mean, Ty Simpson, not bad. Not bad. But yeah, if that's the best. John, how do you join a dynasty? Where do you find one? Let's pivot to that before we get to this trade from Joe Daddy. Here is how people have been finding we're going to have spots filling up. So for example, we have this trade from Joe Daddy. Joe Daddy is in Boom Bust 7. We have 9 current Boom Bust leagues and we're starting up the rookie drafts. Oh God, is this going to work? Let me hide the browser. Make sure I get this working. Open Discord. Is this going to work? If this isn't fast, we'll move on. It's fast. Dear God, I'm the world's fastest computer boy. Browser. Here's our Discord. If you're on Twitch or YouTube, you should still be able to type !Discord and get a link. If you're on TikTok, they don't have that sort of feature, so you will have to go to your browser. It's going to be hard. I'm just kidding. It's very easy. In your browser, type tinyurl.com/boom discord. It is also lit in our profile text, and it'll get you into the server. And if you want to join a Dynasty League, here's where I post our orphan teams. Right here. We have our channel, Dynasty Fantasy. Find a Dynasty League. Other people are posting their leagues here. I've been filling spots as we're getting our rookie draft started and people are phasing out. We're phasing new managers in. I post them right here. Here's one that I posted. Was this yesterday? And we got that draft off the ground. So if you're looking to take over orphan teams, this is also probably where we're going to post our startup drafts in our Discord. So if you're looking to do that, or you want to be the commish of a league and start one, you can do that here. Post it in our Discord and you'll find people who want to play with you. Let's jump to this trade for Joe Daddy. 202, 407, Dalton Kincaid, Rico Dowdle. Okay. You were sending Dalton Kincaid and Rico Dowdle. I think you got the 202 and 407. This is another one. Like, I just don't know what I'm doing with the 202. And I'm a hater on these picks. So as you're hearing this, Joe Daddy, I probably overhate rookie picks that are outside of the first round. 202 in some years is good. Last year, it was like, I got Colston Loveland at the 112. Jackson Dart was falling into the early second round, but he was still a first round quarterback. There were just more players. Like, that's why they said 2026 was a weak class, because there's not that many players taken that are fantasy viable. We get to the 111 and we're looking at, like, I guess Omar Cooper. I guess Ty Simpson, a quarterback who's not going to start. So 202 in this year, rough. You got Stowers at 202 today, Malcolm says. I don't know exactly who you took with 202, Joe, but are you going to get more? This is one of the things where I was saying, like, if you're moving Bo Nix in a deal, I probably would have moved Dalton Kincaid, tried to pair Kincaid or Rico Dowdle with them to get closer to 2 firsts or an extra something on top to get you to 2. I mean, you sent Bo Nix for, what was that? Darnold and what's his name? Bryce Young. I probably would have paired Bo Nix with Kincaid and Dowdle to get closer into firsts. Joe Daddy, no one's sending first. You just got to be a stickler. Like, that's the work. There's a lot of times when, and I'll say it in a ton of videos this fall, when I say Dynasty Fantasy Football's not luck, it's because it's work of just grinding your face against trades, trying to get combinations of Kincaid, Dowdle, and Bo Nix into as many firsts or players that have really good value in return. It's like hours and hours of building trade requests to try to get the best value back. So maybe I would have looked at someone like Jordan Addison. However, in this league, I have Jordan Addison, like just slightly depressed players under that first round pick threshold that could go up this year and get to a first round pick. But just bringing in the 407, like we're swapping to dart throws. But Dalton Kincaid 202, fine. Maybe you could have done a little bit higher on Rico Dowdle. Like when it came through, I didn't think, oh man, someone's getting robbed. I just don't love it for a rebuilding team. But I will add, the team you took over was terrible. I have some teams that are multi-year rebuilds. So yeah. Let's see. Let's cover a couple of these messages. Cole Russell, Trevor Lawrence plus to equal Jamar Chase. It's going to matter. It's going to depend on what the Jamar Chase owner in your league says. Thoughts on Matthew Hibner? Is that like that could be a 8th grade teacher for all I know. That's what that name sounds like. A wise soul once said, I'm trying to trade David Montgomery for a wide receiver like Pickens. Is that fair? No. David Montgomery for George Pickens? No, it's George Pickens by a lot. Alex, we covered that one. Malcolm Lopez started a new startup. I would recommend, start a new startup if you're new. I would recommend an orphan. Orphans are fun to bring over. Cole Russell, chances Delp is the number 1 tight end for the Saints at any point. Sure. John, what's an orphan mean? That means, so we had that with the team, the trades that we were just looking at for Joe Daddy, and we'll pull one up right here. The trades that we were looking at for Joe Daddy. Oh, is it live? Yeah, it's coming live. Took a minute for it to open on my screen. An orphan team is Joe Daddy joined our Dynasty League. Someone left the league. They had a team. We're not going to reset the whole league. We're just going to bring in a new person to take over that team, no matter how good or bad it was. And Joe Daddy's a saint coming in, taking over a terrible team. This trade, 109 or Travis Etienne, straight even. That's about the price. There's plenty of leagues where I'm sending the 109 for Etienne. There's plenty of times I'm sending Etienne for the 109. Or maybe I said that. I mean it in both ways. So maybe I actually said the same thing twice. I don't know. I'm getting old. It's a long day, but this is even. For the team that you have, again, I think you were trading ETN and you got the 109. We're trying to combine all that stuff up and get more. But I'm not going to keep going on. I'm not going to keep. I don't want to pile on. Let me make sure that I think I clicked that one as reviewed. We got the next one from A. Sully. These have been coming in. Let's do this one. And then I do see a question from, who was that? Alex. I see your question, Alex, and we'll churn through a bunch of them, but I see a specific question from Alex. A. Sully in a 12-team Superflex start 11 PPR with a bigger, beefier 0.75 tight end premium. Malik Neighbors or Trevor Lawrence and Tucker Kraft? We'll sip a little bit of that. Here are the notes on the trade. I have a lot of wide receivers and I need a quarterback and tight end. The other options, trading one of my top wide receivers, would be Prescott Pitts. So let's see. Okay, so this trade comes to us from Sully, who has Malik Neighbors and is saying, should we trade for Trevor Lawrence and Tucker Kraft? Their team does need a second quarterback. They've got, and I'm going to work something out for next week where we can just, on the side here, throw up your guys' teams. So come on back. It's not going to take us, we'll get it on the green screen. But this team, yeah, they need a quarterback and a tight end. And I think their team is like in the mix. They can compete. This is a team that is strong enough to make the playoffs, but at quarterback, they have Brock Purdy, Tua, Zach Wilson. In a super flex, like, you need another one. They have Trevion Henderson, Kyron Williams, Charbonnet, Blake Corum, Jalen Wright. Wide receivers, they got big dogs. Neighbors, JSN, Emeka Ibuka, Brian Thomas, Michael Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, and then kind of some schlubs after that. And no tight end. Mason Taylor, AJ Barner, Cade Otton. I might be looking at, am I sending Malik Neighbors for, here's what I'm doing. Let's throw this up on the screen because this is similar to what we were talking about with Joe. SpongeBob, if you put in trades right now, will they get reviewed tonight? Yeah. Unless my voice completely goes to hell, they'll get reviewed tonight. And then Tipsy, can we look at yours? Yeah, we will. Yep, we've got the queue going across the screen. We've been stuck at 9 for a while, and we have been answering them. So I think more and more just keep coming through. So if you have some questions, we don't dump them in the chat. You put them on the site. Let's take a look. Let's throw this on the screen and talk a bit about it. Because the trade was Malik Neighbors for Trevor Lawrence and Tucker Kraft. Like, that's not horrendous. That's not actually, just reading it fresh again. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I mean, I like Malik Neighbors a lot. You might not end up getting more. I may explore trying to find other quarterback options. Like, I like CJ Stroud as a cheap option to bring in, who could be a value riser, or at least like cheap QB2, decent production. I don't know that we're going to get a repeat from Trevor Lawrence. He's been up and down throughout his career. But even with that said, sending Malik for Lawrence, ignore these rankings. Sending Malik for Trevor Lawrence and Tucker Kraft, that's all right. I don't think it's a wild deal. Other things that I would say, get paid on the 202 and 302. If you're sending Malik Neighbors, try to find a way to throw in, I don't know, Zach Charbonnet and get paid on that. Get paid on Michael Wilson or Ricky Pearsall. And it's harder. It's a lot more work. But if you're taking this sort of team and trying to tear down from one of the best players, like Malik Neighbors is probably still a first round rookie pick, or excuse me, still a first round startup pick. I would want to look at doing something like that. Aiden, is that, yeah, I think that is Aiden. You don't want to give up Neighbors or JSN, but you think you have to. I'm okay if you give up JSN, but just do that thing we're saying, get paid on these other guys. If you're sending JSN, get like the 110 in value, the 109 in value from Michael Wilson in that trade as well. SpongeBob, is it still free to send them is it still free to send them in? So let's finish up our thoughts on this. If you're sending one of these guys, like, get paid on Pearsall, get paid on Michael Wilson, or if you're just looking for a cheap option, get like Travis Kelce for a third. He was tight end 3 last year and he's playing again. Look at some other viable tight end options because I would call out Kelce as the last veteran who's still performing. Zach Ertz tore up his knee and he's not playing this year, but he was like tight end 8 before getting hurt last year. You can find some cheap options. So you're watching live. I'm going to pull that one up and set it as reviewed and say that I'm sticking with, I'm going to say the Malik Neighbors side just barely. I don't hate this deal. I just like, there's other paths for you, especially if you're saying like, give me the tight end, just get like Travis Kelce. Take a look at his scoring in your league. I think in PPR, he was like tight end 3. We think he's getting older. If you get tight end 8 production from him, tight end 9 production from him for nothing, you're still going to be pretty happy. Okay, Swag Crane is the next one that we're going to cover. I'm going to click it, put it on your screen, and let's cover a couple other things like SpongeBob Freak Pants. Is it still free to send them in? It is. So the trades will not always stay free. We're going to add in full team reviews on live streams like this as well, where we've been doing a little bit of looking at your team and covering things, but more like full team reviews, full next paths forward for the next couple years as well. And that can't be free. Our current plan right now is, as we roll over from what we have right now, where it's just punch it in and it gets answered, will be trade credits. So what SpongeBob is saying, is there a credit limit? No, right now, every single trade is set up for free. We're building that out, but it's be like a couple bucks. Same thing you would tip on a live stream. But right now, SpongeBob Freak Pants, it's free. Okay, the next trade that we have, this is going to be one that we got to find a way to call out in the site. I don't cover IDP stuff. So this trade, 12-team Superflex, start 9, half-point PPR with a full point tight end premium. Make sure it's on your screen. It is. The notes say it's 27.4 is a 27.5 fifth-round pick, and it's an IDP league. I don't cover IDP. I'm going to double-check the scoring, and before we're ever taking money for something, confirm that the site can detect an IDP league and say like, hey, maybe suggest a different person for you to go to. So we'll say what we feel on this with the 12-team start 9. I just don't know IDP players, the economy of an IDP league. Anytime you're evaluating trades, it's all based on how is Ramondre Stevenson going to score compared to RJ Harvey and then their ages and things like Woody Marks to find value for players. If we're adding in entire positions I'm not familiar with, it just starts to break down right away. So it wouldn't be a spot where I'd ever say to trust me on it. But here we are. We'll do our best. Bros and Beers IDP League. Am I sending Ramondre Stevenson in an early second for RJ Harvey? Yes. Yeah. I said a lot, and then I looked at the trade and said, and yes. RJ Harvey, I get the concerns with him. I get any concerns that people have with RJ Harvey. Second-year rookie, second-year player. Last year he was an old rookie. Second-year player, but he's still old. So he's older than most second-year players. He's in a split backfield, which is what Denver is. It's what Denver was going to be when Harvey was drafted, and people loved him as the next Kamara or Sean Payton found his guy. he was always going to be in a split backfield. Right now it's J.K. Dobbins. They brought in a 4th-round rookie in this year's draft. He's not going to supplant R.J. Harvey. Harvey's still going to have his role on the contract that he has. In most situations, I'm fine just taking Ramondre Stevenson, who had a pretty good role last year with the Patriots. We don't know that it's going to stay the same way. And we have both ends of split backfield situations that could go different ways in 2026. Last year, Stevenson was the lead guy. Henderson took a backseat. R.J. Harvey took a backseat to J.K. Dobbins, who was the lead guy. That can flip. Ramondre can lose work as he gets older and Henderson gets better, and Harvey can gain work as he gets better, and J.K. Dobbins is coming off an injury, and Noah Coleman is getting worked in as a rookie. I'm taking the Harvey side here. Again, I don't know all of the context of I don't know all the context of the IDP settings, and we're starting to get the coughs. So we'll see how much longer we can talk. If we find that too many trades are coming in, we need to do this twice a week, we'll go to twice a week. We're doing it once a week just to get people submitting trades, and then we'll go to 2 times a week, and then we'll go to however many it takes to continuously get questions answered quickly. But eventually, I just can't talk anymore. Next trade coming up, Sunday Fun Day. We're going to put this one on the screen. Let's see what sort of chats we miss. Hydra, what's up, coach? What up, Pootie? That's Pootie Tang. What's up, Pootie Tang? Tipsy, you said that's me. This league is weird. Lemon fell to you mid-second. That's where that's the exact situation. I just don't know IDP leagues that well. So if Mekhi Lemon is falling to the mid-second, I am just going to take that and process that as, rather than saying, oh, that your league sounds like it's full of idiots. That's I don't think that. I would think, I don't know how that league works. I'm hearing something that doesn't make sense, so it's more likely. I just don't know how that league works. I'll tell you what I think. Like you're saying, you were getting Mekhi Lemon there, which means I'm just not understanding the values. So we'll find a way to never take a trade credit or something for something like that, but we'll add that in. We rarely get those things. Next trade, it's Bad AF Sunday Fun Day, 12-team Superflex. And then we'll check a couple of other messages in the chat that I saw. It's Bad AF Sunday Fun Day, 12-team Superflex, 11 starters, PPR, half-point tight end premium. What are we doing here? Justin Jefferson, Shadur Sanders, or Cam Ward, Jonathan Taylor? I have my thoughts. Put in the chat. Are we taking Jefferson as 1, Cam Ward as 2? Put your thoughts in the chat, because I'm thinking, like, really? You guys are all taking the Cam Ward, Jonathan Taylor side? I'm taking the Justin Jefferson side. We're gonna say, I mean, in the chat, a lot of people are saying they like Cam Ward, Jonathan Taylor. For this year, if I'm taking Justin Jefferson, I feel like he's undervalued right now. Jonathan Taylor is at like peak value. Pootie Tang saying hell nah Ward. Is that youth for ass? Don't tell my daughter I said ass. Oh my gosh, she loves saying swears. Let's throw up the rosters for you guys to take a look at. Because I did see a message saying, is that a rebuild? Let's pull up the rosters. And when we come back next week, Wednesday, because we're just going to be able to pull up the roster of the team on, right here. I'll probably build it right here. But for now, we got to look at it this way. League rosters, Justin Jefferson is who I'm looking for right here. So on this team, are we sending Jefferson and Shadur Sanders to go get? So let's take this question and rephrase it too. With this team that says this team stinks, are we taking Justin Jefferson and Shadur Sanders and bringing in Cam Ward and Jonathan Taylor? If they're saying this team stinks, I'm not going to do a full processing just on old, outdated keep trade cut value. They're at the bottom of the league. This value is probably 4 weeks out of date, and we're more likely to just take it off the site than update it. H. White says you take the Ward side and trade Jonathan Taylor while his value is high. That's kind of where I'm leaning now. Where I like Justin Jefferson. I think if you're selling him low. But the same way that we've been talking about a bunch of times tonight, Like, I mean, Joe Daddy's still in the chat. If you're on a rebuilding team and you're getting someone to pay you for Shedeur, Pootie's saying, I promise Cam Ward isn't the answer. If you need to trade Justin Jefferson, you'd find another trade. I would pause and say, it's April 29th. You don't have, if you're a team, if your team name says, this team stinks. I haven't done a full breakdown of this team, but you have Justin Jefferson. You're saying, I got to take Jefferson and get paid on Shedeur. I kind of like this trade. And even though Hydra in the chat, who's in our league, in one of our leagues, that's Pootie Tang. Even if you don't like Cam Ward and Jonathan Taylor, I don't love them either one either. You can then take Cam Ward and Jonathan Taylor and ship them with Ramondre Stevenson. You're bringing in a ton of assets that you can tie your garbage to and get paid. I just want like the 205 in value for Ramondre. And I can get that if I'm trading him with Jonathan Taylor. I can't get that if I'm trying to package up Ramondre Stevenson and Joe Milton. Ramondre Stevenson and Kamara. You're not getting anything. So pairing Justin Jefferson with Shedeur, who's hard to move for guys that are definitely movable and equivalent enough in value, I like that. Especially if you're a rebuilder and you're not pushing for this year anyway. However, this team seems fine. Why is it called This Team Stinks? Just because they don't have a second quarterback? This team is just taking... That trade's fine. If you need a second quarterback and you're bringing in Cam Ward, that's okay. I might agree, find a different quarterback than Cam Ward, but you can get one. It was a joke name. Yeah, I'd say that's a joke name. This team is not god-awful. Justin Jefferson for Jonathan Taylor and Cam Ward. I mean, you're moving Shedeur. I think I like the part where you're moving Shedeur. I don't know that Cam Ward is exactly where you want to end up. And Jonathan Taylor is probably peak value the same way Saquon is on the clear ending of his career or the clear downside of his career. Unlikely to continuously be going up in value. Getting paid out on Shedeur and then making other follow-up trades is fine by me. Let's take a look at the next one. Ooh, we're trying to get all of these answered. Here we go. Devonta Smith is the 109. Let's check out the scoring here. 8-team, 1 quarterback, 8 starters. It's Smith by a mile. But let's get you on the widescreen view. Look at the scoring of this league before you evaluate the values, because it's 8-team, start 8. Who are you getting at 109? Who's gonna for sure take over Devonta Smith? Who are we taking there? It's like Concepcion. He's probably gone. In an 8-team league, I guess Kenyon Sadiq. Like maybe he becomes a massive stud. There's no tight end premium here. Denzel Boston at 9. SpongeBob Freak Pants. Like no shot. I'm taking Devonta Smith by a lot. Unless we get someone in the chat that says like a player name, not a person saying they want the 109. Like, who are we taking at 109? Jadarian Price, Caleb. I've seen it. People have been leaning Price much higher than 109. And because it's a 1 quarterback league, Mendoza's not getting taken. So every number that you're assigning in your head to players, like Jadarian Price, subtract 1 because Mendoza's not getting taken. If you're in an 8-team league where you're starting 8 quarterbacks a week instead of 24, nobody wants that. Malcolm Lopez, can you make the team size marker larger for mobile? It should give you landscape view. If you're on mobile, watching on mobile, or are you talking about something on the site? If you're watching on mobile, you just got to go landscape view or check out Twitch and YouTube where we're live screen or widescreen as well. Okay, we're falling behind. This one comes in from League of Legends. Didn't we answer this one? Super Warden? We've answered this one. Okay, watching on mobile still a bit small for like down here, the scoring. Make these badges bigger. Is that what you're saying, Malcolm? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can. We can. Here's the thought that went into it. My chair is as high up as I go. The camera's pretty hard mounted. There's just not that much room to get my chin off of as we make them bigger. And like I really gotta. We will. I can't do it right now, but yes, going into next week we can. And I can make a way to sit up, and I am trying to think of the shot. It's not an amazing shot in the office, but I'll have to sit up, maybe even sit closer to the camera to get my chin off of. I feel like if I make it bigger, it's not a well-balanced shot. That's really all that was. So we'll make it bigger, but I can't change it today because we would have to redeploy the website. No, it's a good thought. If you guys have thoughts on this stuff, let me know. We're going to redesign it, and we'll get, again, wrong hand. We'll get the roster shown up so that we don't do the swaps. Did someone in the chat resubmit this one? Because we covered it. It's Waddle by a lot. It's Waddle by a lot. And the name of the league was also League of Legends, which I remember because, God, I love League of Legends. You're not going to get me to forget that one. We covered that. Make sure I'm not falling behind on the queue. Okay, that one's done. We did this one. I think there's some of these that we just didn't. What is Devonta Smith worth in picks? It's going to be tough. So Femi don't know ball as I go through and I make sure that right now I'm just making sure that I get the queue cleared out correctly so that I can see who's up next and that you guys can see who's up next. What's Devonta Smith worth in picks? Now that the picks have players associated to them, like 106 and a 27 second is where I could move on from Devonta Smith. I'm a Smith believer, Devonta Smith. So if I'm getting like the 106, whoever's left between Mendoza, Jadarian Price, some people might not even give you the second there. We need to clear out a couple. So that's where I would have it. I like Devonta Smith. But there's not that many players. Once we know the draft, and in a draft like this, in an NFL draft like this, where there's just not that many guys that got drafted and have value. Like once we're into 110, it's rough. We start looking at it and saying, well, now we need to come up with combinations. It's not like last year, 2025, with a lot of guys going, like 14, 15 players we wanted to draft that we can start to pick, maybe like 109, 107 for Devonta Smith. It's not quite that way. Clearing out some of these that maybe when I submitted the review, they didn't get done. That way the queue will update for you guys. That's what's happening as we vamp on some of these questions. See prices from John freaking Wayne on YouTube. Prices now the 105, 107. Yeah, he's going in that range. I don't know that I would, but people are taking him there. Let me refresh this page. Sports Jazz fan, yours is almost coming up. The queue this text may be delayed because I don't control when this updates, but it should update by the streaming software. Like it's saying this trade is still pending. Let's review that one. It was DeSores. And we are on to Sports Jazz fan. Tyler Shuck are the 108. Coming from YouTube, awesome site. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Sports Jazz fan. It works. Flattery does work. The notes on the trade say, Awesome site. Thank you. My quarterback room is kind of rough. We'll take a look at it. You've got Murray, Gino, Nix, and Brissett. Yeah, that line. It's a 10 team super flex start 10. You do say it's kind of rough. I don't know. If you have the 108, would I move the 108 for Shuck to add him to Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett, Geno Smith with this team? Let's take a look. So the trade is 108 or Shuck, but let's just that's about even value. Let's throw your team up there for the people in the chat. Pooty, you're next in the queue. Let's throw this team up here. Are we sending the 108? Now, I don't know. I mean, I think you're in the chat. Sports Jazz fan, yeah, you are. Have you done your draft? Are you at the 108? Do we know what the 108 is? Because are we sending the 108 to grab, like if you can get a receiver there, are we sending the 108? Like maybe you get Concepcion, maybe price falls there. Maybe you're taking Sadiq. Can we solve the problem in a different way is what I would look at. Where 108 for Shuck, like that's okay. And I don't think it's crazy. I think we're going to get most people in the chat going like, yeah. I think that's what we would see in the chat. If it's not, yeah, 40 times, let me know. Are we way off on that price? 108 for Shuck. You also have 103 if that helps. Yep, we can see that right here. So I know your notes, first time using the site to submit a trade, put in, we'll read the rest of it. We're trading my second first router 108 for Shuck, be worth it. Your other first is 103, but you want to take a receiver, Lemon, Tyson, Tate. You don't think Mendoza will fall to you. Appreciate your time. And that's a great line there. You don't think Mendoza will fall to you at 103 or 108. I don't think he'll be there at 108. I don't like Mendoza anywhere before those wide receivers anyway, just based on the upside of those receivers. It's not going to take that much for them to perform and be better in value than Mendoza, who just doesn't have receivers. He's got Brock Bowers and then the worst wide receiver room in the league. Like maybe the Dolphins have a worse wide receiver room than the Raiders, who have like Jack Besh, Trey Tucker, Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Naylor, cast off from the Vikings. So a rookie quarterback who might not start, I wouldn't be taking there at 103 or at 108 if you're desperately looking for starters. I'd say, can you down tier from Gibbs and pull a quarterback out of that? You could probably move Kyler Murray. There might be a Kyler Murray believer in your league. So like, if you have Bo Nix and you don't like Kyler, trade Kyler in the 108 for a better quarterback. See what sort of options are there. I wouldn't go straight to just, I need quarterback. I send one pick for quarterback that is okay. Can you find a 2-for-2 deal? Move Kyler, move Jacoby Brissett for someone's third quarterback, and then you just have Geno as your third. I'd look at options like that. Because across the board on the rest of your team, you're okay, and you have room to pull value. If you want to take this 103 and you want to use it on a receiver, you have Odunze, Burden, T. Higgins, Jaden Higgins, and then we're hoping, we'll still get good production from Jacoby Myers. We're hoping Golden steps up. And you're adding in Tate, Tyson, Lemon. I'd look at moving Jake Ferguson and Kyler Murray for a quarterback. You got a bunch of other options. So it's fine to go 108 for Shuck. There's just other ways you could do it too. Like could 108, like we're seeing C ask 105 for Dak. Could you throw something on with the 108 and get Dak? I don't know what, we could look. Where's the Dak owner in this league? This guy quarterback, the Tyler Shuck manager, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Tyler Shuck. I see why he's trying to move him. He's just trying to go to two quarterbacks. Can we find someone who has Dak here? Like Drake May, Dak, Bryce Young. Could you get Bryce Young as your second guy? Your team is good enough that your second quarterback doesn't have to be amazing. So maybe you get Bryce Young for cheaper than the 108 and use the pick there, or just wait until you get to the 108. And if you don't love the options there, then move it for Shuck. I'm going to mark it as like, it's even, it's just not the only option for you. Next one. Okay. On my screen, we've got 3 more. I don't know if it's going to update and show me way more than that. The last one came in 20 minutes ago. We're getting towards the end. Avoid fire. Gridiron bang bang. We've gotten some questions on that. Sports Jazz fan, we do have the feedback. Let's see this. I feel like you have moving pieces as well in my roster who could be moved and upgraded for a quarterback. Lots to think about. I mean, you have a good roster. And I thought, I have some rosters where I'm thinking this as well, where I have like all these pieces that might start for me on some of my better rosters. And yours is at the point where it's a better roster. Like, don't forget about them. Can you get something for Geno? Can you get something for Kyler Murray? I'm a Kyler Murray believer, but I wouldn't tell you to stick with Kyler. I know not everyone believes in him. So can you take some of these guys that like you don't necessarily like and remember that someone in your league probably does and see what you can get for them? What's this next trade? Avoid fire, gridiron, bang, bang, 10 team, super flex, start 10, PPR, half point, tight end premium on top. It's a 7-player trade. I see one side has Jamar Chase. Are we not taking that side? I don't know yet. Let's read it. Nico Collins, Brock Purdy, James Cook. Okay, that's 3 real pieces. For Sam Darnold, Cam Ward, Jamar Chase. 10 team, start 10. So it gets shallower. So Jamar Chase takes on even more value. Like, would we do Nico Collins and James Cook for Jamar Chase? Is that about the price? It feels like we're paying the full price if we do that. So are we saying like Nico Collins and James Cook for Jamar Chase? And I think we're taking the Chase side. Once we start crossing some of these things off, like if we just said Nico Collins and James Cook for Chase and Dowdle, that's not that absurd. And then we're saying like Brock Purdy for Darnold and Cam Ward. We're taking that's a lot. I would take Cam Ward and Darnold over Brock Purdy by a bit. I think we're taking just going Jamar Chase. Am I missing something here? I don't think I am. We're taking Jamar Chase. Why not go get Jamar Chase? I see one from Reese. Can you make a video about the draft, not about a Dynasty League if I haven't already? I haven't. Can I? I don't know. I mean, yes, I can. I don't have one on the books. What do you want to know in one? What would you watch? What would you watch? I don't know that I care that much about the NFL draft as someone just playing redraft. And there's not that many players going into. I can. Ooh, okay. YouTube was frozen for a minute. Maybe I just froze mentally. I can. I mean, it'll come up we're going to cover a ton of stuff for redraft in the summer. So we'll think about it. Let's see, John freaking Wayne. Oh, I don't know. With more trade questions. Here we go. Trade through the site. Reese Kennedy would love your insights. Thanks. There's just not that much insight for redraft. Like, are we touching Mendoza in a 1 quarterback redraft? No. Any of those receivers, they'll probably go. I mean, the insight for redraft is probably pretty fast. We could just do it right now. We're going with Jeremiah Love. He's going to be a back end first round pick, and I think that's fine. We'll talk about it a ton in August, how we feel about the ADP and different ranks for things. But Jeremiah Love, in basically every league, will go in the first 12 picks. Maybe some people will hate the Cardinals and he'll go at the 201. That's about where Ashton Genty was going on a terrible team last year. So I think we're okay with I think plenty of enough people are going to be okay with Jeremiah Love there. And then Tate Tyson Lemon. Most years, rookie wide receivers go rounds 4 at the earliest, 5, 6. And that's where Tate Tyson Lemon will end up, unless we hear a ton of stuff out of camp that like Shuck can't support 2 receivers or they really want to run with Travis Etienne. So it's probably going to be around 6 and 7 for, why am I blanking on their names? Lemon and Tyson. Like Ibuka was round 8 or 9 last year for context. And then Jadarian Price is going to get pushed up probably by the end of August. By the end of August, pushed up to like the 4th round in redraft, ahead of where someone like Hampton was going last year. And then who else is there? Kenyon Sadiq, 9th or 10th round. And I'll probably stay away from him. Casey Concepcion, probably 8th or 9th round is where he'll end up. And then I don't know that anybody else from the draft is going to get anywhere. Maybe someone's going to feel cute about Jonah Coleman. And is that even the guy's name? The Denver 4th round pick. That's my initial thoughts on it. But that's just off the brain live. It'll definitely, they'll all get covered. Maybe we'll even make that as a video as we get closer to the draft when more redraft players are coming back. Let's take a look at this trade. Zay becomes my wide receiver 3 from POA Ammo in OC Dynasty. 12-team, 1 quarterback, start 8. 106 and 204 for Zay Flowers. Okay, so let's take a look at this trade. The two, we'll fix this score bug, make it a little bit bigger and readable on mobile. And then we'll also fix why it doesn't show the number of the pick. But this is 204 and 208. I don't care about anytime in your leagues. As a tangent, SpongeBob, this is you. You've done 17 trades this offseason. I mean, it looks like you're nailing it because I don't know that. I'm going to take that back. All I saw was someone was trading the 204 for the 208, and that was getting called value. I would do that 100 times out of 100 if I could move from 204 to 208 this year, or 205 to 210. Like, it's all just kind of fluff and junk. So would I move the 106 for Zay Flowers? In a 12-team, 1 quarterback start 8? Yeah. Zay Flowers is young enough. I know I think he's on the 5th-year option, not extended by Baltimore. The only thing I would say is the 106 probably has a higher ceiling. But now that I'm saying that, maybe not, because this is a 1 quarterback league. So we're going to pull Mendoza out of there. Who's going? Love, Tate, Tyson, Lemon. No Mendoza, so it's like Jadarian Price, and then we start getting into just worse options. Sadiq in a 12-team, no tight end premium. Fewer starters, so we don't really need tight ends to do that much. Zay Flowers. It's Zay Flowers. And then the 204 to 208 swap is just a great way to make it look like you're giving more value than you are. Because I don't care about going from 204 to 208. Okay, we got ones from Jimmy and H. White coming in. Okay, 4 in the queue. We got another one. Is this SpongeBob Freak Pants? Oh my gosh. Is this just a mess of junk for Cam Scatabo? 12-team, 1 quarterback, start 8, half-point PPR. So Bryce Young is on here, but it's a 1 quarterback league. Rashad White, 207, 208 for Cam Scatabo. Yeah, it's Cam Scatabo. It's Cam Scatabo. Just because you're in the chat, we're not going to go that long on that one. It's Scatabo, and it's not close. This is just junk for something that works, especially with the scoring. With 1 quarterback, what's Bryce Young doing anywhere there? Next one. Is this also from you? Same league, OC Dynasty. Brian Thomas, the 312, or Luther Burden in the 204. Do I take Sadiq or Price at the 105? Can't decide yet at the notes. Probably Price in this league. Probably Price. What are we feeling here? Going from the 312 to the 204. It's not it. I mean, that's way further than what we were saying before with 204 and 208. Brian Thomas or Luther Burden? I'm going to just say because it's May, Luther Burden. Luther Burden. Malcolm Lopez saying the Burden side. I don't know who's going to. So can I get a quick team review? No. No. Two answers on that. SpongeBob Freak Pants. Thank you for watching. I'm going to run out of words I can say. I'm going to run out of words I can say. So let's show the people. We do have on the site. Is the site showing? Yes. You can click team advice. Once you've signed in, it's very easy to create your account. Once you've created your account, you come to profile. The only thing on your profile, we're going to update this, but the only option on your profile, and we'll update the onboarding as well, is you just type in your sleeper username and hit sync leagues, and it pulls every league you're in. I'm in a few. You click on view, or you click right here. I don't know why I'm looking at that when I should be looking right here so I can see what I'm looking at. You pick whichever league you want. Here's one of my leagues. You go to team advice. There's a whole button that just says request team review. Right now they're free, as we're figuring out how we're going to build out a stream and make this a product, or make this a show people can watch and care about and like get data on the screen. So everything's free while we're doing that. Same way the trades have all been free. Like we got feedback, too small. So we'll make that bigger. Team reviews can come. John freaking Wayne, where did you say I should go for a trade? Questions right here. Submit your trades, boombustfantasy.com. We should probably make this bigger too. We'll make the thing on the going across the top bigger. Same name as I think you're watching on YouTube. The channel name is Boombust Fantasy. There's boombustfantasy.com. It's very straightforward. That's the site that we just had pulled up for how to submit those things. At least I think it's straightforward. We'll keep working on it. Can you get a team review real quick? Was the question from SpongeBob Freak Pants. I'm gonna not be able to talk anymore, so we're gonna try to get through what we have on here because we said we would close the queue out. Trades. We looked at this one. I didn't get my full thoughts on this one. I'm taking the Luther Burden side, and I want to clarify. I don't know who's going to score more here, but more people, I'm mirrored. This is my right hand, and I'm looking at the right-hand side of the screen. More people like Luther Burden. So I'm just taking the Burden side, and then I'll make other deals. Even if I think Brian Thomas might score more than Luther Burden, if I can just get the Burden side and then flip him for a player that I think will score more than Brian Thomas, or that is that I'm more confident will score what I want Brian Thomas to score, I'm taking that side. So in May, I care a lot about what people think, even if I don't agree. Because we don't have to stay there. As long as a ton of people agree, then I'm taking that side and then moving that. H White sponsors and merch coming soon. Hey, if you're a sponsor, or if my local brewery wants to sponsor me, this is what we're powered by. This ain't piss, baby. It might look like it, but this ain't piss, child. Oh, God, this looks bad. What are we looking at in a trade here? 102 from Jimmy. I don't actually know if it's bad. Jimmy, 12-team Superflex, 10 starters, half-point PPR, full-point tight end premium, but there's no tight ends in this deal. The 102 or a 27 first, second, and Ja'Cory Crosky Merritt, just give me the 102. Just give me the 102. I can take the 102. Sometimes when I'm evaluating a trade, I'll say, if I move the 102 and I bring in a 27 first, a 27 second, and Ja'Cory Crosky Merritt, can I today take that stuff and flip it right back for something as good? And I don't think you can. Jimmy says, you think the players in next year's draft are better, though? Not at the 102. So next year's draft does have a lot of quarterback prospects that we like. That's where a lot of that value is, that perceived value is coming from. Good, really good wide receivers at the top. So think of it the same way we thought about, if you're trying to look forward to 2027, I think about it the same way we thought about Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze as a top three, all three top 10 picks, like really good wide receivers in 2027. and a bunch of quarterback prospects right now. But last year at this time, 2025, I'm looking at a calendar. Yes, it's 2026. I'm getting old. A lot of the quarterbacks that were taken really late this year, like, oh man, last year we were upset Drew Aller didn't commit. Garrett Nussmeier went back to college. Cade Klubnik's going to be great. All duds in 2026. So players like Janoris Sellers, quarterback next year, Arch Manning, maybe we feel better about Arch Manning than we did about those guys. But at this time last year, no one was saying Fernando Mendoza. The stuff does change. So I don't get that hyped to take the 102 and just get a 27 first. If I'm moving the 102 right now, it's got to be 227 firsts at least. And then I'm doing the same thing that we've been saying with, I'll pull up your team here, Jimmy, and I'll throw it on the screen for people. One of the things we've been saying, like if you're trading the best player in the trade, also trade the worst player, especially with a disparity like this. If you're taking the 102, you can't be the one bringing in Ja'Cory Cross-Garrett. You need to be the one shipping your equivalent of Ja'Cory Cross-Garrett because you have the clear best piece. So with any trade, and it's not just this trade, any trade you're building, if you're sending the best piece or the clearly best piece, also send the worst piece. Make that a rule for yourself. You're going to get a lot of people who, when you take Kyle Monangai as just, I haven't fully scanned the roster, but this is a player that some people like, some people don't. You're going to find someone who says, I don't want Kyle Monangai. And then you say, that's the price though. That's the price. You have to pay me for this guy if you want the 102. You'll find people who don't want that, but that's how you win over the long term. You do a lot of work to find someone willing to pay you for Monangai, or I don't know who's going to give you a late second for Keon Coleman or something else. You don't just bring in Ja'Cory Cross-Garrett because you think you're going to get a better player in 2027. So we don't know what this stuff is going to be. And also, it's not that I also didn't say this. So we said all this, everything we said, I stand by. What I will say is my wife is getting ready for bed, which is why we got to clear out this queue. She heard me. She said, I'm fine. I think she was talking about my body, not the status of the show. The thing that people say, like 2027 is a good class, 2026 is a bad class. It does not mean the early part of this class is bad. It means the early part of this class is small. There's a couple good players. Like last year's draft class was good. It had Ted McMillan, like Cardinal Tate's the same. Mekhi Lemon's the same. Jordan Tyson's the same. It was a good draft class and we think those players are good. This is a bad draft class, but it has good players. It just doesn't have a lot of them. So you're fine at 102. I wouldn't move them for that other stuff. Okay, I have two more here. I'm going to hit refresh. We're going to call it. Last one is going to be Boat 5. Discord username, the Phoenix League. That's the last one that we're covering. H. White, the question comes in. Bucky Irving or Josh Jacobs in a second? You have a lot of running backs in youth. If I wouldn't do this, any advice on what I should do with your team? H. White, let's take a look. Are you the Bucky Irving side? Am I sending Bucky Irving for Josh Jacobs in a 27 second? No. Like, what's your team? You have Bucky, Cam Scatterbo, Javonte Williams, Bashal Tootin. We don't know exactly what Tootin's going to be. You have the 101 in this year's draft as well. Actually, maybe. Let's get a better perspective. This is why we make the trades go through the site, to get more of this is the context of your team. Here's loading up Bucky Irving or Josh Jacobs and a 27 second. At the end of this year, I think I'm going to want Bucky Irving. I think I'm going to want the Bucky Irving side. Just because he'll still be around. Josh Jacobs, about 1,000 years old. What is he, 28? Final year of his Packers deal? Or does he have 2 more years, but he's always cuttable? I think he has 2 more years, Josh Jacobs. This year and the next year, but he stays cuttable. I think I'm going with Bucky. I think I'm sticking with Bucky. You get that extra second. You already drafted rookies. Then this will update soon. I don't know why it doesn't pull your league. the active players right now. It could be that the draft isn't fully done. You're saying you already drafted rookies. I don't know. That's one of those problems when you're making the website that for a few days it shows rookies at the bottom. Oh, yeah, that's weird. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, it shows rookies at the bottom. This is the first time I'm seeing this. There's a very small window of the year where things are going to look weird. Because you probably, I don't know why it would do that. I'm just thinking, what do I need to do to get rid of that? You have Jeremiah? Like, no, I'm just sticking with what you have. If you want to move one of these guys, don't do it for Josh Jacobs and a 27 second. Move Bucky Irving for, I don't know that I'm moving Bucky Irving. I have him as a hold. I'd hold him. Given like keep trade cut value, I would hold him. So if I'm moving Scatabo for a bunch of stuff, I don't know that I want to do it for another old player who's going to lose value and like probably score the same as Bucky or not notably outscore him. We don't know for sure that he will at his age. So I'm going to say hold. But it's close. It's close. Okay, these are the final two trades. Marvin Harrison or a 27 first for Coolio. Marvin Harrison or a 27. Is this the last chance to get out on Marv? Right? Does he get better with a better offensive coordinator? Is there a reason to move? I'm pulling up the rosters. Is there a reason to move Marv for 27 first? This team, no. Okay, actually. Okay, I just looked at how many. Look at this with me. Come with me on this journey. Marvin Harrison or a 27 first, but then come along. Every pick known to man. 101, 102, 104, 106, 108. Do we need Marv on this team? The team's receivers, Puka, Marv, Jameson Williams. Let's just say like, oh, we don't have Marv anymore. We went to a 27 first. Puka, Jeremiah Love, Carnell Tate, Tyson or Lemon, whichever one you like at 104, whichever one is there. 106 you can grab. You don't need a quarterback. Are you getting Jadarian Price? You don't need him. At this point, if you're bringing in Jeremiah Love, you're moving Bijan or Genti for a great receiver. So, yeah, I could move Marv for a 27 first. You also have 3 firsts in 2027. Maybe, I mean, with this league, with this setup, it says back-to-back champ. What am I? You're back-to-back champ. And you have every pick that's ever existed. This, like, sure. Coolio, like, should I move him for the 27 first? I might just hold him at this point and just keep the train. If I have enough picks to kill God, I might just hold Marv and shoot for the upside with that one. Just because you have so many, like, it's not that big. The reaction is awesome. Don't say that. This is one where I might just hold Marv and take that shot on the upside, because in the grand scheme of the team that you have, it's not that big of a deal if it misses. If you miss by holding Marv, it's not that big of a deal. But also it could be a good 27 first. I mean, flip a coin. I'm just going to say flip a coin. Final one that we're looking at. The Phoenix Leave, boat 5. Man, I wish I was on a boat. It's late. Do I want a night boat? I don't know. But I do wish I was on a boat. What are we looking at? Jalen Hurts for Bashal Tuna in the 106. This is a fast one. Boat 5, 12 teams, Superflex, start 9. It's Jalen Hurts by a lot. It's Hurts. It's not close. It's Hurts. Superflex League, my only quarterbacks are Cam Ward, Tua, Geno Smith, and Quinn Ewers, and you can ship Tootin and the 106 for Hurts. What are we looking at here? Are you the Tootin time? Are you Tootin time? You got Tootin? Yeah, you have Cam Ward, Tua. Okay, no Wood. But you got Tootin and you move the one. Yeah, Tootin in the 106 and you bring in Hurts. Easy. Easy peasy. Even if you don't like Jalen Hurts. Even if you're one of the people who thinks Jalen Hurts is bad for fantasy football, this is a very cheap price. I should be seeing if I can get Jalen Hurts for the 106 and Tootin. It's Hurts. I might break my mouse slamming that it's Hurts. We are at the end. We called that we would wrap up the queue. The queue is done. We have one more that did not get marked as done, but we're going to mark it. Everything is there. Queue is closed. H. White says could be Tootin in 102, and I'm still taking Hurts and Superflex. Yeah. Yeah. We have wrapped it up. We've solved it. Fantasy football has been solved. No trades in the queue. This will update. It says 2 trades in the queue, but that'll update. But we'll be long gone by the time that it does. It'll update in the background. Thank you for hanging with us. Fausto Gate. It gives me an invalid error when you try to submit your trade. Well, we'll take a look at that in time. It should have a link to the Discord support channel. We're wrapping stuff up for the night as it is. If we get a bunch of trades, we'll come back sooner. Otherwise, we'll be back next week, Wednesday. You have to select Discord, and the other option at the bottom says Coolio. So maybe that's something we need to clean up. Maybe that's something we have to clean up. I'm not sure what error you're getting. Thank you guys for hanging with us. This was a long one. It will be live if you want to catch other trades or you submitted one and you missed it. It'll be live on YouTube. YouTube just does some processing. I don't know exactly that you'll be able to watch it right away. I don't know that part. Ask Jonathan Google. He'll tell you. I'm going to click end. Thank you very much for being with us. This is the end.